Exactly 20 years ago, 25th September 1996, this theatre opened with an opening party. And the first film that screened at 9 p.m, same as this session tonight. That film was The Living Sea, a 45-minute documentary. And the theatre opened only showing those documentaries because they were the only films that were shot on IMAX films and the only films that we could show. But you know what, in an uncanny way, not only is it 20 years since we opened, but there's a direct link between The Living Sea and The Dark Knight. The Living Sea was made by Greg McGillivray from McGillivray Freeman Films. Greg's been making IMAX films for nearly 40 years now, and he's probably made more IMAX films than anybody else. Wow. And when he was busy making films, there was a young Christopher Nolan at 14, whose parents took him to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. And he watched an IMAX movie when he was there. The movie he watched was called To Fly. It's still showing, and Greg McGillivray had directed it. I was at an IMAX convention about 2 years ago, and Christopher Nolan came and spoke to about 40 IMAX exhibitors. And he told us that story of how, as a young 14-year-old, he sat in that cinema. And during the flying sequences, he looked and noticed the entire audience was moving from side to side. And he said, at the time, he said to himself, I want to make films that make people do that get them that involved and immersed in what's going on the screen, that they're moving with the action. So run forward quite a few years, and suddenly Chris Nolan's got a bit of weight in Hollywood. He wants to make The Dark Knight. And more importantly, he wants to shoot it with IMAX cameras. He fought the battle with the studio, who thought it was going to be too expensive, it would take too long, there'd be too many problems. But before he started, Wally Pfizer, his experienced director of photography, and he decided really, before they embark on using IMAX cameras, they need to talk to somebody who knows a lot about making IMAX films. And they went down to Laguna Beach, which is just south of LA, where Greg McGillivray has his offices and his studio. And they spent a day with Greg, and they picked his brain. Tell us about these cameras. Tell us what you can and can't do. What's a real close-up with a screen this big? What can we get away with in terms of camera movement? And I've got to say, when I first saw The Dark Knight, and it was the first feature film shot with IMAX cameras, I was blown away at what Nolan had done. You need to remember that this film was released in 2008. It was only a short time around after Avatar, and the world was abuzz with 3D. Everyone was talking 3D. 3D was the future of cinema. And Nolan came out with a 2D film. But the IMAX scenes, I gotta say, I was in this theatre, and a colleague and I, as we left, we both said, forget 3D. Look what he's done with 2D. It was incredible. So it's a lovely story, I think, that wraps up our 20 years in this fantastic theatre with this fantastic screen and this absolutely fantastic film medium. We started with one master, Greg McGillivray, who's still making films, and we end with another. And Chris Nolan is in the middle of making his new film, Dunkirk, which releases in December next year. No surprise, he's shooting with IMAX cameras. But what is a nice surprise is he's agreed to make a little intro for tonight's screening, just for you guys. And it says a lot about how much he loves this medium, how much he loves this theatre, and how pleased he is that the film we've chosen to close out our 20 years here is one of his, The Dark Knight. Cool. So let me introduce Chris Nolan on screen to say thank you to all of you, because without you, there wouldn't be anything here. There wouldn't be a business here. It's the cinema goers of Sydney who've come here and loved what we've done, who's made it all worthwhile. So biggest thanks go to you. Anyway, here's Chris Nolan, and enjoy The Dark Knight. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Christopher Nolan, and welcome to the final screening of the IMAX Theatre Sydney before its grand reopening. The film you're about to see, The Dark Knight, was the first commercial feature to incorporate significant sections of original IMAX film photography, and it was originally released in this 1570 IMAX film format that you're about to see tonight. The team at IMAX and I are thrilled that you're going to get a chance to see the film the way it was originally meant to be experienced on a true 15 perf IMAX film print with all of the depth and clarity and resolution and hopefully excitement that entails. So thank you very much for coming, and please enjoy this presentation of The Dark Knight.
Stand by for IMAX Theater Optimization Crosscheck. Configure customized movie screen.
Field of view maximized.
Power up revolutionary projection system.
Crystal clear images enhanced.
Calibrate powerful digital speakers.
Laser aligned sounds perfected.
Prepare audience for maximum impact.
Audience engaged for full immersion.
The world's most immersive movie experience begins now.